Yes, Cyrus says it's changed to what's it called? Cock and Bull. Cock and Bull. It's Thursday, 6 p.m. See, I'm such a morning person. I don't even know the words PM. But as something I have to, on a slightly more tragic note and sad note, I discussed this with my family, and they said you have to come clean, therapeutic or not. You have to be honest and open with the audience because this is the internet, and people don't want to get bullshit. Just be straightforward, and it sinks or floats by that and by that alone. Oh, so I'm going to just come out and say it. I won't just beat around the bush. Terrible 3 days for us. Horrible, horrible 3 days. I don't know how we got through it. My mother's, uses prayer and all that, so I'll give her that. I'm not really interested in all that stuff. I don't know how we got through it. I hope it never happens to anyone in any culture anywhere in the world. I would not wish this on them. It's the worst thing you can wish on anyone. Air conditioning went kaput. 3 days. 3 days we had to suffer. Live like
Oh,
people in the 14th century. It was hopeless. I cried into my pillow every night. I cried myself to sleep, like you probably did in the Vietnam War if you're part of it, because everything's collapsing all around you. But it's back, and I'm so happy. And I just hope you never have to go through what I went through, ladies and gentlemen, because I. It builds character, they say, but I'm shattered. I'm physically and emotionally. I've aged 7 years. You can see from the hair loss immediately that's happened because of no AC. All right, let's meet our panel. They have happier things to talk about. Amit Doshi is in our new swanky office. Hopefully, not very far away from good use. You can take a look for those who can see the
yes.
video. And for those who can't, the audio will be clear of the plastic rustling in the back, which is basically covering some of the very important furniture, which he doesn't trust the employees. People don't know this
This
about Amit. Amit is finicky for
okay.
cleanliness and hygiene and for everything looking spick and span. So the last person to be allowed in that office will be me. I can tell you that. Yeah. I mean, the quick word on
Uh,
the office though, it's coming up
yes,
now.
It
it
has
is
AC,
coming up
Cyrus.
now.
Don't worry.
It does
It,
have AC. Listen, I'll talk about the office in a bit, but I have to ask you a question, right? I mean,
yeah.
like, I would have thought that no AC would be
Mhm.
the one thing that would drive you towards spending money, i.e., taking a hotel for the night. I would have thought it. I really thought it would have gotten you there.
I thought of all these things, but I have to walk dogs in the morning. No one else can do that, etc. More importantly, they lied to us about delivery. So they said it's only going to be one night. One night became 3 nights, and I finally got it. But I have to tell you, this is India. Okay, it's like the bail for poor Aryan. We'll get into that for a second. He gets the bail, but he won't be home before Sunday because of
Hmm.
procedure. Because अभी तो
Yeah.
टाइम लगेगा, अभी वो पार्ट नहीं मिला, अभी वो वेंडर आया नहीं, अभी टैक्सी नहीं मिला, अभी बारिश गिरी है. So there's no end to all the things that happen. So I have to tell you that. So I thought one night, then it became second night. But the third night I was crumbling. I was really crumbling. My
Oh,
daughter's room has AC, so I tried to sleep there. She threw me out. She's 14. It was
yeah.
just like creepy father coming and lying in,
Yes, it
there. So
would.
I was thrown out. But
No, but
yeah,
I know. I'm just.
say
I really like. I mean, I'm not as cheap as you, but I'm pretty cheap too. But I think this would have driven me to do the hotel
you're a
thing.
single male. You can just do things, bro. I can't
That is
do
true.
things. I'm like, this is worse than Rajya Sabha, where I am. We have no power, but lots of people with opinions, and nothing happens. It's horrible. And I've done things. May I tell you what I've done? I don't know if you guys have done this, but this
Uh,
is when we have that electricity in the old days when we had 2 and 3 days, well, hours and hours of it, not just 1 hour which we get now and then. And in those days, I've done things like I've slept on the bathroom floor in the night because I've wet it with cold water and then lay down. Okay, I've actually done that because I just couldn't take it. I just couldn't take the heat. I have gone into the car, put on the AC, and sat there on off 10 10 minutes. Because anyway, I'm a light sleeper,
Actually,
so I can manage that.
that's legit. You could have still done that. You have the big car. You have the Jeep Cherokee. You could
I have
have
three
put
cars. I could alternate between all three cars to save
no, no,
diesel
but
and engine issues and all that. Yeah.
with the Cherokee, you could like put the seat down and then
It's
you
not a
have like
Cherokee. It's a cheap Jeep. Cherokee is some 75 lakhs or a crore or something. Brother, what are you saying?
oh, okay, all right. I thought you had
Let our
the.
podcast,
I thought.
the moment the podcast does really well, Cherokee it'll be. Plus an extra AC. I'm the only guy with a Stepney AC, like you have for your car tire. I'm going to keep that AC under the bed. Man, I get so depressed. And it's just my luck that wherever I've worked, also the ACs don't work. We were dubbing on Monday for an ad film, and the dubbing, they have to shut the AC. Bro, and I
Yeah,
warn them. I warn them. Listen, I'm a sweater. I sweat more than the average person. Please remember that. And then you spend the whole
look,
time trying to figure out what to do after that because the guy's sweating through the whole thing.
as somebody who has
Oof.
just built studios, may I say that the cost of silent air conditioning is holy fuck. I
Oh,
mean,
is
like
that the reason?
seriously,
Is
yeah,
that the
dude.
reason?
Yes,
Why? Why is it so expensive?
because silent. So even if you're looking at a split versus so there are two types of ACs, right? There's a central AC, which is always silent, right? Because that there's a plant which is far away and it's just throwing AC to you. Those things are incredibly expensive to make if you're making it for any
Fuck.
kind of an office,
Fuck.
which is, yes. And then when you look at the split ACs, if you want a silent one, there are only two brands that you can use, right? Daikin and Mitsubishi, which are essentially twice as expensive
Oh,
as
I
normal
thought you were
brands.
going with Adani and the other one who can't be mentioned. Okay, okay, sorry. You fooled me on that. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
That's
but
terrible.
that's why that's why all these studios turn these things on in such a way that we'll keep the AC on for, like, during breaks, but when the actual takes
Yeah.
need to happen, we'll shut the
Yeah.
AC,
It doesn't work.
which
Trust
is
me.
damn annoying, man. I
Very
can't handle it.
annoying, honestly.
Yeah.
So let's make a vow here as AC lovers, all three of us, that if we write for any TV script, Sylvia, you're writing TV, podcast commercials, we must include the character of the AC. Your first line should be "Piche AC on hai." AC की आवाज सुन के Cyrus
Oh,
Broacha कहता
internal
है,
internal
I
time of
loves
day,
you.
AC on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Always the AC is like a character. It should be there. So we know that no guy will come to me, sir, wo wrestling. Sound people are, I told you, I hate the sound people. I call up Rasul Pokoti and abuse him every day because I really believe they're the worst department the world has ever created anywhere. They're worse than the police for me, or the any of the bureaucracies that we have left over. It's just
Hmm.
unbelievable. I mean, what do you think? Don't they drive you nuts
Amit
taking
is
up the
stuck, I think.
Amit is stuck.
With
It's
like
because
this, like a very
what a nice
peculiar way
picture.
of,
Yeah, Amit the
yeah,
thinker. Yeah. Okay, can we keep him like that?
yeah.
Can we tell him not to unstick? Can he stay
I'm
like that?
sick. Let's come back with audio. Oh well.
He's come back with audio.
Yes.
I can't hear a
No,
word.
he's not. He's not. He's not.
This is bad
Uh,
advertising for a very bad advertising for a new studio. Um,
yeah, man.
I mean,
Oh,
he
that's
was doing
terrible.
so well at home.
Yeah.
Rahul Sawant says only Amit has
Only Amit has
anti-reflection
anti-reflection
glasses.
glasses. Like both of us, our glasses are too much
They can
reflection.
see the
Correct.
bouncing that's happening from here.
Yes. Correct.
But is it true? I don't even know. Because his glasses seem to be
No, no.
pointed. Did that?
I mean, it seemed true right now when Amit was talking right now, and it does
This
seem
was
true on most days. Amit's eyes are always
I think it's
visible.
Amit's Lokanwala model moment. He's gone into some pensive look, for some Cyrus shooting Raymond's ad or something like that in the background. The complete man having a thought to himself. Anyway, I think we'll just have
Yeah.
to carry on without him till
No
such
worries.
time as
Before that, there is
he can
Akshay
return.
K has said that today is Kani's birthday. Any fun, good
Oh
memory
shit!
of
Right,
Kani?
October
Oh,
20
you haven't
something.
wished her,
Yeah,
no,
that's right.
Cyrus?
But bro, I'm not good at all this, man. And
That's
then
true.
you
I
have
get
to,
it. Yeah.
then you have to also when they wish you to wish them back. Then more people to talk to in your life. So I try to avoid
Hmm.
that. This is
So, any good memory of
like a
Kani's?
Oh, Kani's memories I have plenty. The thing is that Kunal and I treat her very differently when we started out. Welcome back, Amit, after the break.
I
Um,
Yes.
yeah,
No,
it's okay. As,
it's a new office.
it,
Internet is flaky. What can I say?
yeah. So don't
Hmm.
worry about silent air conditioning for now. We just need Wi-Fi. Okay, we'll go step by step. Let's not push
No,
the envelope here. Yeah.
so it's basically new Wi-Fi connections being installed. I didn't realize that they were already starting to do it, but they are
Yeah.
starting to do it. So I had to connect via my mobiles, via the hotspot.
I don't know if you're leaving the best tech situation is mine at in my house. Then it's like leaving democracy in the hands of Kim Jong Un or something. This is not a good thing. This is a terrible sign. Coming back to your question, it's Kanise's birthday, by the way, Amit. We've had her on the
Yes.
show. We worked with
Happy
her.
birthday, Kanis. Yeah,
Unfortunately,
she's been on a couple
and
of times. She's been on other stuff too on the network.
and the only reason she's not on our show is because of finance. We can't afford to pay her. Please, everybody understand. We love her. She loves us. But they just cut our contracts 2 years ago, and we're not able to pay her. And I can refuse to pay her the small amount they offered because she deserves at least 5% more than that, maybe more. But yeah, lots of good memories. So the thing is, so that we have two different ways of directing. Kunal is like a control freak. He acts out the performance. So when he acts out the performance for the next character, it's very old fashioned. We all like to watch that and we laugh around the room because he'll be Kanish, so I want to be like a Delhi lady and go, maine kya kiya? And he does the whole acting, and it's like it's ferociously ugly and obscene, monstrous, and whatever. And I just let her do what she wants because in any case she's incapable of doing anything but what she wants, so it all works out well. So we have
Hmm.
we have a good relationship. Um, yeah, but Kanish is very staunchly feminist, so you have to be a little careful. There are a couple of areas if you tickle her, she gets really aggressive. So we have to remember that. But she's such a lovely person. She always feels bad about her rant, and then she'll come back and apologize. We of course have no idea because I come from, like I said, strong women, so I'm shouted by women all the time. So for me, it's like nothing. Screaming, shouting. I don't even pick it up sometimes. It's just normal. Um, yeah, but she's come a long way. In fact, here's the irony in comedy. When she started, we saw her performing in Yacht Club for a small audience, doing the Hindi thing, the bad Hindi thing, where she did the
Hmm.
weather report sort of. That's where we created the weather report from our own organic weather report thingy, where she said things like, "Aaj ka tapmam hai 20 or 5." Just silly things like that. And so, but it was like, yeah, it was like a
Oh,
little
for
genius,
25.
Because,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Please,
so we laughed so much. Exactly how you laughed just now. She made
yeah.
us laugh. Nobody else made us laugh. I think we were judging it or something. Anyway, so when we got her and we would write these clips for her, it was great because we would try and, or Gopal would write, or somebody would write really, chaste Hindi, and just, I mean, words like Parivartan and all that, we just take hours. But we would never let her rehearse. So it has to be live. Pari and Varata, and wow. And then all my reactions are real. Just and we got some super reaction. Anyway, cut a long story short, as we went down the line, she got better at bloody Hindi. It's not like she's ever going to be a pandit, but she came to say my standard. And then she started acting out the thing. And then I lost that beauty of the real, we find another language now for her to screw up. Because it was lovely. The whole crew, everybody liked that. The thing that was happening then. But that she just became a little better. Damn it. And then we lost that bit. But yeah, fantastic. What a talent. Great fun working with her. I really enjoyed it. Completely
Yeah, she's
nuts.
really
Doesn't hold
she is
back when she's performing.
she's really nice. She's really nice. She's really fun. And I don't know her all that well, right? But the few times that I have spoken to her, it always feels like uh, there's a sharpness to like how she thinks about stuff, right? It's not like the thing with sometimes right, she plays like dumb sometimes, and the second you
Yeah,
talk to her, you realize that that's
clearly.
not really yeah.
Yeah. And because she exaggerates all her performances, it's old-fashioned parody. It's just you give it to her and she'll just take it to another level. So you'll
Yeah.
always be sure that it'll go that level. Like there are 3, 4 characters she was born for. I love a character that we created called Mrs. Kapoor, which name changed after some time, who's my typical beach candy auntie, which we grew up with, Amit. Who the driver will drive auntie right to next to
Mhm.
Precious, opposite side of the road, stop the
Triple
car in the
park
middle,
outside Ambersons.
triple park outside, and slowly she'll get out and with
Yes.
a very accented Hindi, say, driver, तुम अभी 15 minute में चक्कर मार के वापस आना यहीं पे इसी spot पे, okay? And I mean, people are honking. So we created these characters and we told her all the examples and all that, and she took it to another level. And I. We're an English channel talking about India and mostly about problems that affect the entire country and not just the elite. And then the Mrs. Kapoor or Mrs. Sharma. She's one of those rich, fancy sobo moms. She does that
Mhm.
superbly. Fantastic. It's great fun. I mean, and actually, sometimes the humor is almost black because we have, a starving man who she gives money to because, and then realizes the petrol prices went up. There's the whole gag where she has to take the money back because the driver says they ran out of petrol. So after giving him money for his kids and all that, she takes, which is so apt or whatever. Fabulous. We've had some good performances and great fun to be on stage because she's very organic and likes to enjoy the moment and all that. So honestly,
Hmm.
acting with her and Gopal are much more fun for me than acting with my great friend Kunal. Yeah, who throws tantrums in 2 minutes. My God. Yeah. So,
Also,
Ah man.
but we're a good group there because everybody's a little different. Yeah.
Kanis's the General Fun game show is a pretty cool show actually. If
Great
you
fun.
guys are
Yeah,
ever
yeah,
interested,
yeah.
yeah,
Ah,
it's
it's good that she's
very
doing all
very
these different
unique.
things.
Yeah.
She's doing something with the South African cricketers. Of course, Quinton
Hmm.
de Kock is not taking a knee. We should discuss that at some point. So I can't find that ridiculous, really. I don't know if you guys are
Sorry,
following this story.
what do you find ridiculous that he's not taking a knee?
Okay, so now we've discussed this, okay, and we go back to unpronounceable NBA of the what's it called, footballer.
Kaepernick, Colin Kaepernick.
Kaepernick. Kaepernick. So now in the ICC trophy here that's going on as we speak, everybody's agreed to the boards have agreed to take the knee, or at least show some sort of moment of unity. As this is the phrase used, the moment of unity. So we have done it. Pakistan did the hand to the heart. Some others have done hand to the heart. Some of them the black face kind of thing. But they've all done something. So he's got a record from about 6 months back in another series saying, "I won't do this. I'm not going to do this, and it's personal reasons I don't want to tell you." Okay, now the reasons are basically because they've got reverse racism in the team where only 7 whites are allowed out of 11. There's a quota system going on. 4 colors must play. That's upset a lot of the whites also. But
Mhm.
are we playing our best team? Some of their friends run away to England, join the coal pack, play for counties, give up cricket for South Africa. So that's there. But in the fullness of the argument of 200 years of real, I mean, unbelievable abuse and apartheid. I mean, the worst crimes against humanity imaginable. Taking the knee, I thought, for them being South African, the Rainbow Nation, would be more important perhaps than any other country on display.
Hmm.
But whatever, now you come back, Amit, to you and me. We are tested here as Democrats, as egalitarian people, to say that it is your right to do or not do. It doesn't mean that you're anti-racist or something. I mean, that you're a racist, but
So,
anti.
you know what? I have absolutely no problem with him making a choice one way or the other. The thing is, the more I read about like this whole knee taking or fist raising or hand on heart, the stupider it comes across to me, the entire thing. The more I read about it, right? I mean, it's just such a. So, in the first case, the entire point of the knee taking is anti-establishment. In this case, it
The
is the
establishment telling you
establishment
to do it.
dictating do this.
Very true.
The
It's
whole
Yeah.
not
thing is
America.
just so
It's in America.
moronic.
It's a very different. It's moved out of America and it's evolved in a different form. So now the ICC, I mean, led by the West Indian cricketers, obviously the greats like Michael Holding and all,
Hmm.
talking about what they've been through. So it's become like a, I don't know how to explain it to you, but how do you not do it? When you not do it, it sounds,
No,
it's difficult
Yeah,
to defend. I get your
you're being
point.
told.
I don't like being coerced to do anything because I think that
yeah.
coercion comes in the way of the philosophy you're talking about. That comes
So
second. The coercion
did you
is
see
the problem.
Barkha? Did you see Barkhada's editorial in the Washington Post
On
about the on this particular
on the
outside
Black Lives Matter.
on the kneeling during the World Cup thing, right?
What I'm
Uh,
about this incident right now.
not about this incident, about the whole situation itself, or about the whole kneeling idea itself, right?
Yeah. No, but I
Uh,
think what you've said makes a lot of sense. The longer it goes on, it starts looking like a bit of a parody. Otherwise, just because to be honest, we already know what was happening in India-Pakistan match. Suddenly, Rohit is with his body language asking whether he should kneel or not kneel. The other captain, Babar Azam, wasn't clear. The umpire wasn't clear. The dugouts weren't clear. There was nothing happening, and it just seemed like a sham, frankly.
that's exactly what it is, right? The performative aspect to this is the only aspect to this, right? There's no other, there's no sense. So most of these guys could give a flying fuck about BLM, right? They just couldn't
That
care.
now
They could care.
sincerity we can't monitor. Amit, what are you
No, we
talking
cannot.
about,
But
bro?
no, that's the point, right? The entire point of doing something like this, right, is supposed to be that you have some sincerity. The second this is part of what you have to do. Is it's like it's like you go to college, right? And they say that hey, to complete your grade in a sociology course, you must participate in 3 protests. It's the same kind of dumbass thing, right? How can you
Hmm.
mandate, or
That's
how can
really.
you? It just is. I don't know. I just find this whole thing like foolish.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one. I just thought for South Africa's point of view, I wonder how the color cricketers in the team, they already have a discord in their dressing room. They've already got issues. Magai Antini, you may not be familiar with some of these guys, but they've spoken about him as the only black player in the team and the only colored player in the team. You would eat breakfast separately. I mean, those are horrible in the 90s.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
the
yeah.
1990s and early 2000s. This is not 1872. Okay, and I mean that you're in an Indian tour and all the boys are sitting on 3 4 tables and you're isolated sitting on one table. I mean, how? I mean, really? I mean, that's a horrible story. For me, that's like the worst form of racism in the team.
It is.
It's one thing when
It
you're a
is.
foreigner in another country because you always, whatever, you have that. But now this is your country, your people, and you're again after Mandela so brought everybody back, and you have that famous Invictus and this and that, and they won the World Cup, with the black captain. Well, that's all Manmohan Desai stuff, It's just exactly like us. So we say we must be together and secular and whatever. And yet people ask if you're a Muslim, you don't want him in the building, and that continues. You know that in our area for sure. I don't know about Powai. Maybe Powai is a little
Yeah,
more generous. So that shit is still happening. But
yeah.
poor kid was trying to say something. Bacha, what were you
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to say?
It's come in now. Just today that South Africa's Quinton de Kock
Sent
apologizes for
home.
not taking the knee and saying that he will take the knee from next match
Sorry,
onwards.
that's actually his name.
Quinton de Kock with a K.
Hey,
Kock
hey,
is with a
hey, hey,
K O
hey, hey.
C K.
When Sri
I
Lanka play South
Yeah.
Africa, one keeper is called Dickwella and the other is Dickok. Hey, you live with that, brother. You live with that right now.
no, I seriously I saw
And
the
you
name in
think
the chat.
that's why they don't take the knee. You see, that's why he can't take
Yeah.
the knee. This is taking it to
When
another level.
when I saw the name in the chat, I thought they were making fun of his name and
Fun of
calling him
him.
a dick or something like that. I really thought that it was a parody name. Okay, all
uh,
right. I clearly need to. Nah, I don't. I was gonna say I need to watch more cricket, but no, I don't want to.
When
Cyrus,
I want to be really, really bad, I try to get older women to say the names to me, saying I can't, if I'm watching a game, older relatives say, What's the name? The Sri Lankan guy? Dick Wella. I just wanted to say it. What's the name? D. Cock. I don't know why. It's just so wrong. Why is this a juvenile in us never leave? It's like stuck forever. Silvery, but were you trying to say
Hey, you
something?
know
And then
what?
I think,
yeah,
Sorry,
oh,
Prithvi. I just saw this. Prithvi makes a really great point about this whole thing. right?
I agree with Amit.
This is
Huh.
I it's the polar
It
opposite,
is.
isn't
It
it?
is. It's what he's. I'm not saying it, but exactly.
Yeah.
I that is.
Yeah.
See, I don't understand the correlation about whether I'm a patriot and that I should stand at 10:45. Have we discussed this? We have discussed this at the movie theater at the 11 o'clock that night show that we used to go for when we were a little younger.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
after a long day's work, you sit down, you get your popcorn, you're with your date or wife or friend or whatever, and then boom, stand up for the anthem.
Yeah.
What? Oh, you can't give
I
two
have a
minutes to your
bit.
country.
I have a bit
That's
about
not how you
this.
pay your country. Sorry, yeah.
I have a bit about
Taxes is
this
how you pay your
about
country.
I have a bit about how I once went for a movie with a friend at 6 a.m. for a 6 a.m. show. Okay, and
6
going for a
a.m.
6 a.m. show, yeah, it was like one of those movies that you couldn't get tickets for. It was like 2 years back. It was Avengers Endgame. Yeah, it was Avengers Endgame. It was running 24 hours a day because you couldn't get tickets. Everyone wanted to see this movie. We went for a 6 a.m. show because that's the only ticket we got. We entered the theater and we realized that 6 a.m. is not a great time, right? Because half the people, even at the theater, are like half asleep, not fully active yet. Because we enter the theater, we see that the entire theater is standing for some reason. And then we realize that the national anthem is going on, but only the video is playing, no audio. They have forgotten to put on the audio of the national anthem at 6 a.m. in the morning. So now the entire theater is just standing there in pin drop silence. And I'm thinking,
So why
dude,
should you
we can
stand?
sit.
It's the
Yeah,
audio you have
national
to
anthem to
stand
audio
for.
mein hai. Exactly, national anthem
Correct.
audio mein hai, video mein,
उसे
nothing. We can sit.
पहचाना
But
नहीं. Yeah,
too
fine.
scared to sit, right? In India, you're too scared to sit. What do you want to sit during the national? What do you want to die, dude? So you gotta
I
keep
was in a
standing.
fight. I'm in the middle of a fight, rather.
Yeah.
Me and Aisha, we were watching a movie. One of the rare times we went out 3-4 years back, and the two groups got into a fight because one girl, three girls were sitting together, and then one girl refused to stand. So some guys from the next, it wasn't even a pack, was Inox or whatever. It was like 20-30 people. Hey, you have to stand for the anthem, and they started having words. So I
Those
went
are the
to
worst
settle
people,
them.
man.
Yeah,
Who
but
get
that guy was so
offended at other
aggressive.
people not
Yeah.
following rules, no?
Luckily all of us
Yeah.
interfered and stopped it, otherwise because he was getting abusive and not like the profanity but abusive in his tone and all that. And I was like, really, we're all here late night to watch a movie and you want to make an issue out of this? I mean, just leave it alone.
It
It takes us
is.
to this whole Kashmir chant thing that happened. I
So
won't mention, but in the gym that I go to, we had one guy saying they should be hung, they should be. I was like, bro, listen, let the punishment fit the crime. You don't talking like that,
What's the
It's not
crime?
whatever the crime is in his head.
It's
I'm
not
saying
a
if you
crime. I'm
disagree with
yeah,
sorry.
it's not a
It's
crime. It's not a crime.
exactly.
and
It's
I
not a
mean, like,
crime.
seriously,
But they're
Arvind,
saying things
that's
like they should be hanged and all. These are educated people from South Bombay. I'm talking, but this
these
is not
are
some. I'm really surprised, that there's so much angst,
Yeah.
these are
for
morons, because
supporting
I
a
mean,
team in a sport, which is what? How that doesn't make them the
yeah.
freaking
So
terrorists of the
No,
world.
and I mean,
What
like,
is it?
I'm sorry, but does this guy not realize that Kashmir there is a fight going on and that
And
different
there are
people have
plenty of people
different
who,
thoughts with
yes,
you, and
exactly.
does this not does he not realize the reality of this?
See,
I'm
I
sorry, but
didn't.
this is moronic.
It started getting ugly. So I broke it up a little bit. We got into another conversation where I mentioned that if we were, army generals, myself and my good mate Kunal, we've discussed this very often that during and we've told you this on air as well. We always believe that during lunch break we cross over to Pakistan to eat. We just prefer their food. But does that make us anti-patriotic? We're shooting the guys. We're shooting them all morning. We take a break with Nali Nihari, Baba, and today's Tuesday. This is all veg and all herbal stuff. There's bindi available. Come on, bindi Nali
yeah.
Nihari. What do you respect? Boom, off we go.
So
General Iqbal, I'll be there in a minute. Dum, eat. Come back, then shoot them again. We're patriots.
hmm.
But for God's sake, you got to isolate things in context, man.
So for instance, after the Sunday's match, India Pakistan, there were some people who were celebrating Pakistan's win in India, which is you're allowed to do that if you
Well, if it's a
find Pakistan
democracy,
didn't
yeah.
correct, yeah. And but in UP, CM Yogi Adityanath has announced that sedition law will be invoked against those celebrating Pakistan's victory against India in T20 World Cup, which
So what
is
I don't understand is how
also
you get your
crazy.
sedition law pushed in without going through the legal process of sitting in parliament, local parliament, of course, of UP first,
Yeah.
and having the parliament debate it. And so the opposition can at least put their voice forward. But when the chief ministers of states just make diktats, that's exactly what they are. And that
Yeah,
also, I want to look at the process of democracy. Is it being followed or is that it? And
yeah.
it's
I
happening
mean, what
thanks to the pandemic without people thinking because that gave them some special powers and just carrying on with that.
there is no process of democracy in any of these things, right? How many
No,
times we've spoken about this in the last couple of weeks? Process is punishment, right? There is
Absolutely.
no.
bro. In Lakhimpur, a state whose name I won't mention, in Lakhimpur, the guy mows people down, and you take 6 days to pick him up. But
Mhm.
here, a guy goes Pakistan, whatever, Pakistan Zindabad, and you say this is the greatest criminal. He and Aryan Khan should be put in behind bars or shot or whatever is the correct punishment. Come on, yeah, really, and we waste so much time over this. These are silly things. Like you said, it's Kashmir, for God's sake. Let's face it. It is a divided area. We can't change that because we
Yeah.
want to. It's the way it
No, I
is.
mean, like, there is already enough going around in Kashmir on both sides fighting about what the actual country should be. It's insane to kind of assume that there is nobody who is going to want to. In Kashmir, it would be crazy to assume nobody wants to root for India. It would be just as crazy to assume that nobody wants to root for Pakistan. It's a dispute. There's a dispute going on.
I used
Trying
to
to
support the
say
West
not.
Indies when I was young.
Well,
If Wim
yeah.
Wenders was playing, I supported his team. I don't care who the team is, India, whatever the hell country. Nobody ever had a problem. They thought it was cute or silly. That's it at best. My
Mhm.
son in the Wankhede Stadium at the age 9 or 10 in the thing, Yuvraj Singh playing for Punjab. Okay, he gets dropped by Sachin in the at square leg, right in front of where all of us were at the back there, cheering. And there's pin drop silence. Only my son gets up and cheers because he's the only guy supporting Punjab in the whole team thing. Again, after a second of like, what the hell, everybody finds it cute and laugh and ek Punjabi mil gaya,
Yeah,
whatever, all the jokes started. All good,
yeah.
leg pulling and fun. But why is it when the moment is Pakistan, you just dare to say, I like Imran Khan as a cricketer, and boom, jail. Who the hell? He was a great cricketer. We
Yeah.
can't take that away. We can't just pretend it's like how we change history here. Oh, so Babbar, it was a draw at 3:30, 15:26, April 14. They said, okay, put down your arms. Let's do the Bhangra. Everybody is fine. Nothing else happened. It was a draw. You can't do that, mate. Imran was a great cricketer. You cannot change that. Whatever he
Yeah.
is as a politician.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not
No,
a
so
great politician.
that he may not be, but I'm not even interested in that. It doesn't take away from the other part. You know, a horrible example. Hitler was a horrible human being. There's no question amongst the worst that ever lived. But what if he was a good painter? I don't know. I can't understand art. But what if he was a good painter? Are you going to deny that? Then
No,
that's just emotional talk.
the idea that people are just one thing is stupid, right? I mean, like, it is it's this people have multitudes, right? Antrish is a stand-up comic. He is also a podcast producer. He is
He's a
also a
father of
bearded
3 children
guy.
in
He is
Brazil.
also,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there you go, Indonesia. Yeah, but I mean, like, yeah, I
Indonesian
mean, like,
too. Sorry.
yeah, yeah. But no, but basically,
Amit, I hope we're not. It's not a touchy subject. But I've been young once, and there are some girls who hold your heart for a long time, and
No, no,
it can
don't worry
really,
at all.
make you weak.
This
I'm
is
just
all
saying. I
good.
that's
just hope
fine.
because
I
he's
don't.
very stoic. I can't tell.
No, no, this is
There's no
absolutely fine.
hidden.
Don't worry
You
about
you, you don't put this podcast off and start playing the old romantic songs and Mohammed Rafi and Kishore Kumar in the background, and you wailing away. "Wo phir nahi
No, no,
aate."
just no, no, just like on most nights before going to bed, I send her like a VP video message like, "Please take me back," and it now works. So well, what are you gonna do? No, right?
Yeah, I think
I'm totally
those
fine.
two
It's all good.
guys, who accosted you on the road that day, a couple of weeks back, they were sent by
Yeah.
her. This is my person. Oh
Oh
no,
damn
sorry,
it!
sorry.
Ah, now it makes sense.
Or maybe you supported Pakistan. We don't know. What the hell?
Okay, yeah, could be.
Action is
Or
swift
maybe I
when you
didn't
support
stand for the national
Pakistan.
anthem. Anything is possible.
There you go. For these things, the
Yeah,
action is swift. For killing,
yeah,
take your time. Go on a holiday, come back. They still won't get you. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh
So
wow.
again, to a kind of an extension to this, the Yogi Adityanath sedition kind of thing that he just said, or people taking offense to taking offense to the Shami thing, uh, and process is not being followed. Even in the
Taking
Aryan Khan
offense.
thing,
Don't give them that phrase. Taking offense. They're
yeah,
vulgar
just stupidly,
bastards. There's
absolutely
no taking offense.
correct,
The
correct,
guy is playing his heart out. You get Islam and Muslims and all into it. What are you
yeah,
nuts? They're sports people doing their best for their countries. It's got nothing to do with anything else. And then you go after Anushka and a 1-year-old
yeah,
daughter, a child. I mean, just tell me what kind of coward? I mean, how low can in the cowardice range? How low can you go to do that?
absolutely,
I mean, what
yeah,
what else? Attack like a fetus? What next?
correct,
I have
absolutely,
no time for all these. These guys are just. I don't know. The scary part is they're all from. I think from my area. They're all from around us. South Mumbai,
oh, yeah.
South Delhi, the hotspots of Bangalore, Chennai, those kind of places. That's my big fear. They're amongst us. We don't know who they are. It could be you. It could be you. I'm trolling
That is
away. I got nothing to do today.
that is actually pretty scary if that's the case.
It is. It is. More and more people are coming out of the woodwork, brother. And that's scaring me. The conversations we're having, you scratch them and it's coming out. I'm like, this is necessary. Going after a guy like Mohammad Shami, what is he? He's had a fabulous year otherwise. Just leave the guy alone. He's playing cricket for the country and for Kolkata Knight Riders and etc. before that.
Mhm.
And then right now for Punjab, I think. Oh God, don't start me. But then we could do one
Yeah,
thing. We could remove religion. They've tried it in the Soviet Union and China, etc. We could just say you're not allowed any religion. Then that's over. Then what do the trollers do? They,
well,
but you're still saying Pakistan Zindabad, yeah.
Yeah, because religion is not, see, religion in a
Yeah.
lot of these cases is not about, like, your devotion to God. It is about your tribal identity, right? And so tribal identities are fungible, right? You're right now, your tribal identity is religion. Next week it is, we are South Bombay people versus Powai people, and the week after that it is going to be, tribalism is anything.
Yeah, we can find anything. I mean, I am more in common with the Australian team than the Indian team. I feel culturally I'm closer to them. So that means I support Australia. What would, or the West Indies for that matter? I don't know. You grew up in America. Maybe you feel a kindred spirit to them. I can find reasons to put people together.
Yeah.
It's just stupid.
No, it's city versus city. It's neighborhood versus neighborhood. It's even birthdays versus odd birthdays. It
This
doesn't
coming
really
from
matter.
coming from two South Mumbaikers who wear the chop of being the most racist amongst the regionalists of our
Well, yes, of
country. You
course.
know that, right? Yeah. I've never had a kind word said to me from people from the suburbs growing up, or at least when I started working the line. I don't know about
Dude,
Savory.
I
Savory,
got
of course,
made
is like a
fun
No,
of.
from
no,
everywhere.
it's
So
very, yeah.
today
Townie is a very
Yeah, that
common,
whole
like, oh, Townie.
I,
Arey,
I've
got
been
it.
I've
immediately
been
we
called.
don't work. Everything's given to us. And then,
No,
Yeah.
so I've been
and
called South, like, South Bombay shit. I've been made fun of like 3 times or 4 times today, right?
What?
Yeah, just today, right? I'm like sitting with Kavita
nice.
and Anna for lunch, and they're like, "You want some dal, like dal and rice?" And I'm like, "I
Hmm.
don't really eat dal and rice. I can have rice
Unless
sometimes. I
you're
can
in
have dal
Yerevan.
A
too."
Townie
Yeah.
side.
County, and they're like South Bombay. I was just like, "What the hell, man?"
So it's not that
It,
you're
it can,
just moneyed, it's that you're so spoiled. Always remember the spoiled is
yeah,
there in the classy,
no, no, that
complex thingy.
correct. It's not about moneyed. I'm not moneyed.
Yeah.
Most people have a
No,
lot
they're
more money than
spoiled.
I am, right? But I'm
Spoiled,
spoiled. That's
soft,
what this was.
never seen the
I,
real
I,
world. It's in that area. Yeah.
it's in that, yeah. It's more.
Like
It's
like
more
I
about
used
that.
to
Like,
get I used to get the train thing all the time. When we were
huh.
shooting in Jogeshwari and all these guys are going back home and all, they're like, Rosa, you've never been on a train, now you want to try it in that train. I was like, yeah, listen, brother.
No,
It makes
there,
no
there,
sense to take a train in South Bombay because there's no train really from Grand Road to where do I go really? I mean, it makes no sense really.
they,
Yeah.
they made fun of me today because we were talking about drinking coffee, right? And I was like, yeah, I like different kinds of coffee, and like, I like this kind of, like, I like a dark roast for this, I like a medium roast for this. If you're drinking an Aeropress,
Oh,
I would prefer
you're
this.
that much of a
And it was
connoisseur.
just like, huh? No, I'm not a connoisseur, but well, yeah, I guess
But if
maybe I
you're
am. I
mixing and
like coffee.
matching, it's like wines, then obviously you're a connoisseur. I
I
don't know.
like
I drink
coffee.
coffee. I love Slay coffee before I say anything
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
But
Slave
Correct.
coffee
I
is the
know
Slave is the
best.
best.
I know the young lad is
Yeah.
also a bit of a coffee drinker.
Yes.
But you like the
Well,
different
actually,
flavors, which
we
Yeah.
got
Amit does.
Slay
Yeah.
coffee in the office delivered. I had it today, yesterday, and day before. 3 days in a row, I've had Slay coffee.
so I don't have to do any
Amazing
more
company.
ads. We're done. By the way, we should take a break. It's 6:32, and do
Yes,
we have
Yes.
an
absolutely.
ad? I will
Let's
find
talk
out
some
by
more
Yes, we
the
about
end of
do.
this
Slay
call.
coffee.
Yeah, we can.
Oh no,
But
that's not
just
what
I
we
mean,
have today. That's
Oh,
tomorrow.
but
that's
you
what
didn't
we
finish
have today.
the
Okay.
you didn't finish the insult. So what was the insult?
No,
You
it
were
was
having the
just
coffee and you're
again.
switching the.
It's like they just look at me and like they look at each other. South Bombay, right? I mean, that's just what they do, right? They look at each
Can't be
other.
helped.
South Bombay.
There's no future for this
I
guy. Yeah,
don't know what to
yeah.
say.
One day we should write. I mean, really, it's so unfair, honestly, because and we go all the way to Jogeshwari to shoot, so we're the ones who've taken the longest time to go there, and the
Yeah.
worst traffic coming back. So actually, we suffer the
Yes.
most. But then these guys are like, "Oh, South Bombay life so easy." Kitna driver hai tere paas? Not knowing that I'm a Uber driver myself. Once the shift ends. God, people are so mean. And now it's time for a home loans ad read. Okay, let me try my new technique. Let's hope I don't mess this up. Oh, it's my favorite one. I was sitting there merrily with my beloved wife, who I love more than anything. I love you, Aisha. I love you. Love you. And anything in the world. I was drinking a glass of water. I was massaging her feet. I was doing my thing. Ding, 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 ding. The phone rang. It was my son, Mikhail, from Canada. And I was like a little worried because I was like, my son, Mikhail, from Canada. What does that mean? Is there a problem? It's not the right time of the day for him to be calling. I said, Mick, what's up? Is it urgent? What's the problem? And Mikhail said, in a very calm voice, though, but very forthright, have you heard? I said, have I heard what? What? Tell me. And again, he says, almost like in Amitabh Bachchan's baritone, he said, now get Kotak home loans at just 6.5%. I was like, what? And immediately I went, because I had water in my mouth and the glass in my hand. And I was at my wife's feet. So I spat all over her feet. Then I had to wash her feet, then wash the floor, then wash her feet again. She's a two rinse person. So I had to wash twice. I had to fill the water. I was like, what the hell? And I have to tell you, I blame all this on the one and only Mikhail. It has to be my son's fault because ऐसे बातें बताने से पहले कृपया ध्यान रखिए. See how I held the note there? कृपया ध्यान रखिए.
Well done.
Lovely. So here I am. I'm made to sleep on the living room couch. Of course, visually that can't be seen right now. because I'm lying down, but I've turned the camera, so you're getting this effect that's happening. But I don't care. Honestly, I really don't care, because look at what I learned. 6.5%. That's incredibly low for a home loan. Just visit www.kotak.com for more information now, folks. Oh, and check out my new podcast, Come Home to Kotak. It's out now on the IVM Podcast app and website and on all other streaming platforms. Kotak home loans at just 6.5%. Sorry, out of habit, I spat the water out, which I shouldn't have done. I won't do that again. After that fantastic performance by Marlon Brando, in one
Yeah.
take, we move on back to our horrible
Yeah.
philosophies of
Just a
living
couple
in
of things before we
fascist
move ahead with the
times.
show. A couple of things before we
Yeah.
move ahead. Everyone who's joining us live, please hit like. It really helps. Also, if you're not able to comment right now, it's because maybe you are not subscribed to the channel. About
Huh?
70%, more than 70% of the people who follow us on regularly on our live streams have not subscribed to the channel. So please make sure you are subscribed. It's very important. It's a free show, guys. It's an awesome free show. So please be subscribed. Because why not? Why would
I
you
have to
not
cover
be
my
subscribed?
face and wipe the sweat. Sorry, because when you say free show, are you? What's the option? I mean, like, he really.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Now he's
all people
spitting.
have
He
to do is
doesn't have a
subscribe.
wife.
Yeah. So please do
By the
subscribe.
way,
Please
while
hit
you were,
like. It really helps. Thank you.
Amit, while you
So
were
I
off
feel
for a
like
second, we got a message right in the top of the show saying that you're the only one with the anti-reflection glasses. Is it true? Because now I can see reflection.
who, me?
Yeah.
It does look like you're the only one with anti-reflection glasses. Yeah.
I don't know. Is it reflecting?
Very
They're expensive
very
glasses. I
little.
know that. They're probably more expensive than Cyrus's. I don't know if they're more expensive than Antriksh's.
Oh, mine are
They
free.
cost,
You know, give this.
yeah,
This
exactly.
was
Mine
given.
costs more than 200 rupees.
This is given. I don't even know what number this is. But 200 rupees. My minder, not minder. What do you call him? The helper, my dad's assistant, because he's bedridden. So he's bought it for me. Because I
Okay.
broke a pair, and I threw a tantrum and all that. So when I came back from somewhere and he got this plastic pair from somewhere, he said he figured out the number from the old specs.
Sorry,
And I was
slightly
so,
mic. Let's raise the mic a bit, please.
but it's not
Other
near
side.
my cheek.
Other side.
What are
Other
you
side.
saying? There are two cheeks? Damn you.
Yeah.
No.
Who
It's
knew?
And for those of you listening to
Anti-reflection.
this
Screw
on
you,
South
audio,
Bombay.
on audio,
Screw you, Prithvi.
Prithvi, touche. Nice, nice. But any of you guys who are listening to the show who grew up in Mumbai and are from the suburbs and had towny friends or whatever, I got to tell you, I think this has gone on for generations. I've heard this byplay being played out from maybe 80s, 90s, 2000. I think it still goes on. I heard my son, who just before we went to Canada, having a chat with a pal in a car. Because now, as they leave their schools, they have friends from everywhere, and the same conversation in with their slightly north of England accents that they have for some reason, being Liverpool fans, was being played out. So I think this is something that the government can't stop, whatever they try. I dare
I,
you, government, to stop the
so
anti-South
if
Bombay feel. I dare you.
so if I can add, I had the same thing happen to me when I went to college. Some of the guys who I made friends with, one guy was from Bandra, one guy was from Ghatkopar, and the South Bombay stuff started as soon as we started talking. So
I
it's
have,
at least 30 years old.
Sapan Verma, is he a comedian? Sapan Verma, I think his name
Yeah,
is.
Sapan Verma,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
yeah.
have done
Sapan,
I had to judge some show many years back, and he was an upcoming comedian, and he had done a whole routine just on the geography,
yes,
South
he had. I
versus South
remember
Bombay
that.
versus whatever. It was hilarious. I was just thinking he's spot on, yeah, and that was he's a generation after me anyway, so you can see that it just carries on. But for young Pawai, it's different because he's been from all over. Do you have an identification, like identity crisis thing? Because we were born and bred in
No,
one place, and then of course
I
he
mean,
goes to the
yeah.
states. But you're
Like
like
that,
from
I don't.
everywhere.
I get confused whether I'm like I belong to Delhi or I belong to Mumbai. But those I've stopped
Goa,
having
Delhi,
that.
South Mumbai,
Goa, yes,
Powai. I
yep,
mean, it's
correct.
like a 5, 6
No, I've
places, and all
stopped.
in.
Yeah, I've stopped. I've stopped discussing that with
And
myself.
where was
Wherever I
architecture
am is
school?
where I am.
Architecture
So,
school,
Bombay only. I was in Juhu.
Juhu. So Juhu is not Powai. So
Juhu.
that's suburbs, man.
Yeah,
So you're
and
quite the
Andheri West
all-rounder.
for 11th and 12th. So that also, if you want to count Andheri
Andheri
West.
West, my
Well,
God,
I've been all over the
Fort
place, man.
Fort all-rounder.
And a
Sab
lot of
jagah
comedy shows
ek
happen
hai.
in Bandra, if that's what you want to count
Yeah,
that also.
there you
So,
go.
well,
Yeah, lots of
Bandra
nights spent there.
Yeah, I was on Book My Show today. It seems like all the comedy, like stand-up stuff, has started like in like
yeah,
numbers now.
yeah, it's
I
it's
s-
And he's
quite
saying
back. It's back
full
quite
attendance
quite
allowed, not that half nonsense.
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
Also,
for the
we've
most
got
part.
some
yeah.
calls now to see whether the theater is also allowing it. The people
Okay.
are putting up stuff and all. They want basically one-man shows to begin with and things like that, and then obviously they'll go into more.
Hey, do you
But
guys know there is a very cool drive-in theater, terrace drive-in theater opening up in BKC? A
wow,
terrace drive-in theater with 290 cars And you know
Wow.
what the music system will be like? You can tune your car radio to a specific FM transmission which
That's
is using.
been there
And
for that.
yeah, okay. I thought in India
That's common
earlier it
in
was
driving.
like they used to have mic speaker
They
stands.
used to have the hangers.
Huh.
Question one. Question one. If I live in BKC, can I just use it for parking? 290 parking spots. It sounds good. I
It
just
will be
park my
like
car
whatever
there
the
for the
tickets
night.
are. No, it will be ticket prices
Question
though.
two.
So
If I'm in my Maruti 800 and ahead of me is the Cherokee that was mentioned 12 times by Amit, which is a huge car, he's just going to block me. What about that?
yeah,
Oh,
well,
right. You have
that's
to
Yeah.
see it on your screen.
tough luck. Yeah.
No, you'll have to see it on your own screen. It can't be like the American drive-ins where they had a big screen. Is it a big screen?
No, no,
It
it
can't
Yeah,
be a
must be.
big
yeah.
Otherwise,
screen.
Driving
how is
has
it
to be big
driving
screen, right?
otherwise?
Yeah,
No,
it
bro,
has
the
to be a
world has
driving
moved
screen.
forward. There'll be this is the link. Just subscribe to this link, and boom, you got it. And you watch it on your phone or your comp or whatever you're carrying.
No, no,
No,
but
no, no,
then that's
no.
not a drive-in. No,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
point of the
But then,
drive-in is to
how are we
like.
going to look? We have these cars are not uniform. It's going to be a problem. I'm telling you.
So
What is the national
I'm
anthem?
gonna.
Is there a national anthem? Yes or no?
That's a very
How do you
good
get up in the
question.
That's a
car?
good
You can't
question.
I
stand up
don't
You
in
have
the
to
know. That's
car.
a
stand up,
very good
get up
question. I
out of
haven't
your
thought of
car
it.
and
Only
stand up.
midgets,
Huh?
Yeah,
only
that'll be such a
horizontally
pain,
challenged
huh?
people can
Huh?
go. You're standing up in the car. I'm saying, I mean, that Amit is 6 foot. He has no
Huh.
chance whatsoever.
No, that
Ouch,
is
that's
true.
scary.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
Huh,
plan
interesting.
cancelled.
All right.
But
But having said that,
but
huge fan of the drive-in culture.
yes, same here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
would love to do it. Closest was going to the Bombay Gym Khana as a young boy, and they put it up in the outdoors, and you'd lie on the lawn and watch something,
Oh, wow.
And I saw
Yeah,
that.
so
What is that
there was a
horror?
drive-in in
The Crow
BKC
one.
earlier, right? Before
So
BKC
Yeah, there
this is
became
the same
was.
plot.
BKC.
This is the same plot a
Oh,
few
okay.
years back that has shut down. This now has
Yeah.
become something called Geo World Drive or something like that.
Okay.
And that complex way on the top floor, they are paying a homage to that previous driving theater.
Ah, okay. All right.
So this they're getting it back in this kind of a way
But how
on
much
the
will it?
terrace of this
Well,
movie.
you're paying for parking, right? What will be the
No, you're
cost
paying
then?
for a movie ticket, but it must be for the car, right? So I'm imagining
Yeah,
they'll go by like a
like the
4%
Roro
capacity. So it'll be
charges
like
you. No,
thousand
they charge
rupees,
you. No, the Roro
something like that.
Alibag thing is on the car size.
Oh.
The sedan is one price.
Oh, okay.
The SUV is
Huh.
another price. The super SUV will be another price.
So they
So I'm saying,
probably,
how
do
do?
the they probably do the same thing at the
Yeah,
drive-in, right? Like hatchback,
Hmm.
sedan, SUV, three different
yeah.
areas. So then that way also you can put the three cars appropriately
Ah,
in terms of that, right?
right.
See, I'm
So
smart.
what if you come on a motorbike?
So
You'll be coming the
if I
wrong way
remember,
anyway.
so do you remember the old drive-in? So I don't remember this from the old drive-in. I remember this from the scene about the drive-in from the movie Hatyar, which was the really, really good.
Thank God for
Uh,
Bollywood. Hmm.
yes, it was a great movie with Sanjay Dutt and Rishi Kapoor and Dharmendra and like a gangster movie by JP Datta. I remember really loving that movie.
Yeah.
In that movie, Sanjay Dutt used to be go to the drive-in all the time. He'd park his car, and then there were like there were like stalls, like stands for people to sit in and watch the movie. So I'm guessing so he'd park his bike and do that. So I think that's what they do for the bikes. They have a few seats,
So
so
you
people on
can get into
bikes can
somebody
go and sit.
else's car. Excuse me, madam. Aap akela hai? Ding. The movie in the movie. My mind is racing. Can you smoke ganja? Charas 2.4 grams allowed?
Apparently in
Not if you.
Hyderabad, not at all.
Oh, good,
Because in
good
Hyderabad,
segue. Well, you
I know,
caught the
right?
ball well there. Yeah, go,
Yeah,
go,
yeah,
go,
yeah.
go for it. Go
In
for it.
Hyderabad, cops have started stopping people randomly in the middle of the road to make them unlock their phones, hand their phones over, so that the cops can then check their phones for keywords like ganja, like weed, mal, stuff. Just randomly checking these WhatsApp chats for these kind of keywords, and if
I,
you are found to be this thing, then you're screwed, I guess.
But tell Amit the theory of one of the
Yeah.
journalists that you
So
mentioned.
Srinivas Kodali is a journalist who was on one of our
okay.
previous shows just a couple of weeks back on the Wire Talks. He was Srinivas Kodali, and I saw a tweet of his and made so much sense. He says that this is how it starts, right? You go weed mal first, and then what's stopping them to make it BJP? Keyword like BJP and Modi
Yeah.
and anything else,
Or what is
Well,
the local
this
government?
I agree with the sentiment, but I would just say that this is not how it starts because it started a long time ago. This is an evolution. We're already in an evolutionary phase, right? The fact that there is no
The right to
respect
privacy has
for
got to come out to something. What the hell are we talking about?
we
How you
don't
stop
have
a kid
it.
for no reason and say, I want to see your phone? How dare you? I want to see your mother's phone, I would tell the cop. What the hell's going on here? Oh, I want to see your phone and I'm just going to look at your phone and if there's ganja on it, you're in jail. I mean, come on, balls. Then just give up this democracy once and for all. Just say it's no democracy. The police is just
I
getting too much power. We have to stop it. Arise, India, rise. Stand up against the bullies. Don't let them oppress us. We will stand together and break our chains and we will eat at the right time and sleep at the right time. These two requests I have for India.
So I've got to wonder, like, just on a basic this, right? India also, it doesn't have probably as strong protections as the US does around self-incrimination, right? They have the whole Miranda and all that. But I think there are protections against self-incrimination in India as well. I remember reading something recently about it, where you cannot expect people to incriminate themselves. So I'm like, how is this even possible?
Exactly.
If you, this is the definition
If
of
it's there,
self-incrimination, right?
exactly. Literally, I'm willingly giving myself up. But what does that mean? But going back, just look at the way the Americans and in the West, people who protested against the mask. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. There are lots of protests and lots of fighting happened. Here, nothing. We never question
Mhm.
authority. We rarely question authority. We only question authority if it comes to Pakistan for some reason. Otherwise, we never question authority. There's no question. Nobody takes on the police. Every time I try to argue with them, my wife says, "Stop fighting." Kunal says, "Stop fighting." Whoever's in here, don't argue. I'm just talking about arguing civilly. I'm not saying about being obnoxiously rude. Okay, I understand when I do that, that's wrong. But yeah, why can you? I like exactly your point. Like we don't know about the Miranda rights. We don't know whether we have anything similar. We don't know about any of that, and they don't know either. They just have been told it's a diktat again. Go and catch the kid. And by the way, what about ageism here? Some of the oldest druggies that I know, or rather druggies that I know, are old. They're not
Yep.
young. What is this that only young people do drugs? Are you nuts or what? I can take it den after den. I'm not. I can't anymore. Don't call me. But I could then. No, all much older. It's bullshit. Ageism.
Yeah.
Only young. So when you're young, you wear psychedelic shirts and you have a long beard and the fancy glasses like silvery, and you do drugs and you ride a motorbike and you're naked. I mean, what is this madness in the head? There's no one profile for anything, really. But Amit, you had a
Uh,
chance. You were in America. You came back.
Tarun
yeah.
Kaushik has a hilarious comment. He says, Tarun Kaushik says, what if someone meant मैं ganja ho gaya, I'm bald, and the cops think it's weed.
Hey, it's not like they get context, right? Have a blast means we're going to blow some ship up, dude. So it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
like
yeah,
they
yeah.
get
Have
context,
have a
right?
blast. They're too dangerous. Have you seen
Yeah.
them? Oh my God, really? Papa, India's most wanted. Making poor
Uh,
kids scared out of their mind, huddled there.
no, but
Yeah.
I think one of the words you mentioned was stuff, right? That stuff is a problem. That word. Dude, I mentioned I title half the groups that I'm in that I create as stuff.
Yeah.
IVM stuff. Cyrus says stuff. Diwali gift stuff. Like stuff is a word I use for like titling groups all the time. So I'm screwed if I go to Hyderabad, I think.
Yeah, also words like
Yeah.
sugar
I
without the
guess you
brown,
can't
they
go to
still look at
Hyderabad,
me and say, no,
Amit.
don't.
Yeah, you can't.
Whatever, my mother-in-law is 85, she drives on her own. They'll stop her and check her WhatsApp, and it's filled with narcotics abuse. I'm sorry, I apologize. She's a lovely lady. I totally apologize. My wife watches this. I know my sister watches this, so I'm sorry to all family members. But there's a line. Don't cross the line. Never cross the line. It's a lovely lady. But if I was a cop, I just want to be different. I just want to go off the old people. They're the real users. Imagine. Anyone in a wheelchair, arrest that guy. Get his phone. Oops. Sorry. Take it back. Yeah. Silvery, where were we? Sorry.
Did we
Oh,
talk
what is
about a
Silvery
single
doing?
topic today?
No,
Yep.
we just got into it.
So
Thank
should
you
we
for the
get to some more
segue.
AMAs?
We should.
Let's do some
Yeah,
We
AMAs,
got
yeah.
one topic. Yeah.
We got the Hyderabad wala topic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
By
Yeah.
brother, it was a
Also, we
catch.
did
Second
want
game
to
is
talk about
It was an
Aryan
absolute
getting
catch. You
bail.
had
I don't think
forgotten
we got to
about
that.
it. We had forgotten about the topic. It was a catch because the word came back. Yeah, brother, that's not fair. It's played into your lap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brother,
I
is the
think
kid?
we've lost Antrix right now, so I'll let me look for
Yeah.
some AMA questions.
But no, he's back. But Amit,
Hi,
you're
can you guys
drinking
hear me?
another beverage. Can you get that sponsor also on board? Huh?
If we get
You're
this
such a
sponsor on
fan.
board,
Forget money. They
we get
just give
this.
us cans. It'll
No,
be half your budget, your
it
monthly
will
budget.
be. It would spend my. It would
I
definitely make a significant
Silvery,
impact on my own
Silvery,
personal
I
spending.
remember during second pandemic, I had my thing was Wi-Fi was horrible. After that May 15 incident, the cyclone, I went to Amit's house. Remember, the first thing I saw, the very first thing I saw, piled up from the floor was like it was
Yeah.
almost like the 14-year-old kid trying to build something. Was can after can of Diet Coke lying there at the back. I mean, for the week supply, I suppose 40, 50
It
cans.
was a box
All
of Diet
stunned.
Coke, yeah. I mean, like it was a
Huh?
box of Diet Coke,
It
and
was a
there was
lot more than
also
that.
a box of
It
coffee
was
there,
two.
right? I mean, like
It,
these are my vices. What can I say?
Yeah, they're not vices. I'm a big beverage fan. I think we
Yeah.
overdo it. No, we've got nothing left. Everything is bad. Everything is bad. Everything is bad except in moderation. Yeah, yeah. Tell that to the politicians. Jeez, come on. Uh, Start the AMAs. What are you doing? 7 o'clock is dinner in some cultures. Hmm. By the way, why are you dressed like
Yeah, yeah.
Jagan
All
in
right. This
that
one comes in
famous
from
song
Namrata
Hare Rama
Sunkari.
Hare Krishna? Oh.
Just Diwali
Dum
spirit,
Okay.
man. Getting
maru
into
dum,
Diwali spirit. Why not?
dum
I don't know.
maru
Just
dum.
randomly dressed like that.
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram.
Okay. All right.
You don't know these songs from our time, bro?
Oh,
Brother.
okay, great.
This is what was trying to be hip
What great
there.
way to avoid copyright, by the way, Cyrus. This thing completely
Huh?
off key.
What? Sorry,
Oh, I'm not signed in.
All right. I'm saying
Sundar Pichai.
great way to avoid copyright by just singing it so
So
wrongly.
poorly.
Singing
Okay.
wrongly and wrong lyrics. Okay,
All right. Sorry. Let's
go
go.
with the
Name
first
is
one.
Yes.
sorry. Yeah, correct.
Andrix, just right now your internet is really
Yeah,
wonky.
yeah.
Just
Sundar
you
Pichai
have to
recently
click
shared a
the.
video where he was talking while on mute.
Wow.
Are
Is
you
he
there?
doing
Yeah.
it
Okay.
just to make a point? He's doing it just
I
to make
do
a
not
point.
know.
This is sheer
Okay,
genius.
so let me ask the question, Antrix, and you just post the next ones, right? So Namrata Sunkari asked the question. Sundar Pichai recently shared a video where he was talking while on mute. Did you guys have any such experiences where you forgot to unmute or accidentally turned on video?
I had a lot of Shoaib Akhtar moments because we talk in
Mhm,
one accent when we are talking, and when you're talking to somebody off, it just goes a little different. Which
mhm.
I call the Shoaib Akhtar moment because he used to do that when we worked with him. But he'd be like, "Well, I'm trying to get these guys to understand what's going on." What bad thing for it? So I have those moments where, and then I suddenly when I come back, it was civil and friendly and nice, and you just screamed at someone. So yeah,
So you
have
know
you
what?
had them?
I did that exact same thing yesterday, right? So I was recording. I got home from the office and had to record an introduction for a show called Shunya One. Great show, which you all should check out. Really, really good show. Lots of
Is it on IVM?
lot. It's on IVM. It's a great show on IVM. It's one of the
I'll
best
check
shows
it
on
out.
IVM. You should
Putting
check
a
it out.
note.
Yes,
IVM,
please
yeah.
do. But while we were recording the intro for that show, the guy who works at my house to like the cook, the helper, right? The
Yeah.
full-time
Helper's a good
helper had
word.
gone. Yeah, the helper is a good word. I know. He had gone. The full-time guy had gone for. It was in the village for a couple of days. So there was a part-time guy who didn't know the instruction that you're not supposed to walk. Like if I'm recording something, you don't walk behind,
Yeah.
right? So he walked behind a couple of times. I was fine with that. But then he walked behind and then tapped me on the shoulder to ask me two questions. And I'm like, that was like, "Arey, kya kar raha hai?" Yeah. I got a little angry with
And you were
this,
just
right?
speaking about the disparity in income and how we treat people badly, and
Yes, we do.
we have to be more egalitarian in spirit. And then that moment captured the truth.
Yes,
I
it
love
did.
that. Yeah,
You try as much as you can, right? But sometimes you just can't do it. But
yeah.
that was a point at which I was like, oh wow, I wish I was not recording this.
Yeah, I remember first day in St. Xavier's College, one of these moments. It's a metaphor of what this is actually, because we're trying to impress all the girls in arts, because so many girls, you can't believe your luck and all that. So all the men are trying to stutter around and act manly and say the right thing and smile and look whatever. I remember my good friend Nikhil, I won't take his surname, 6'2", good looking guy. He was standing there and he's got a bass voice, baritone, and he was holding court with the ladies and telling them how he gets up in the morning, goes for cricket practice, and makes it back here, and just in time, he was able to have a Shah in Xavier's College, just a cold Shah and whatever, and he's managed carrying a towel. And they were all impressed with his work ethic. And then suddenly his chauffeur in a white uniform with gloves walks in with an orange bottle and says, Nikhil Baba, you forgot water bottle. And it just killed the whole macho movement. We all started laughing. And for many days after, that was the line repeated to him, Nikhil Baba, water bottle. Everybody was, yeah. So it's like we try to put on one avatar and then suddenly they catch you and then the avatar is gone forever. No way out.
Um,
Yeah. He's back.
the
He's back. The young lad is back.
Is he back?
So should we take?
He feels
I saw
very.
another.
I see him moving like every 3 seconds.
There was a question on China and about how they'll punish the parents. Do you want to take that one for children's bad behavior?
Sure. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
there we go.
Pradeep, the line.
Cyrus and Amit, what are your thoughts on China's proposed laws to punish parents for children's bad behavior and crimes? It's a Pradeep
In
Pillai's
India,
question.
there'll be no parents left. In North India, no parents left. Right, Silvery? No parents left. Completely, including me. I'm not denying it.
Yeah,
Uh,
correct.
but I mean, what do you think, Amit? Let's just say the democratic thought has not really seeped into that part of the world. It's
Well, I
ridiculous.
think it's it's how this is an individual thing, right? I mean, like, do you believe in individualism at all, or do you not, right? And China clearly does not, right? But it's insane to punish parents for for adult children's bad behavior. If
That's
this is
it.
for kids,
Yeah, maybe
right?
under
Like,
5 or 6 or something. But at 12,
yeah,
13, you can't control them, you know.
you
Who,
can't
who are you
control
kidding?
exactly. Well, I guess maybe some of it has to do with the seriousness of the issue, or some of it has to do with the preventability of the issue. But you know what? At the end of it, fundamentally, people are people, and even kids have agency, right? And so they're going to do what they're going to do.
I don't know. I think some of these kids are really smart. They know what's right and wrong by the age of 6, 7. It's just playing us. And a lot of them are jerks and pricks. And someone has to call them out. All the time, good kid, only a kid. No, only a kid. Just smack them.
Yeah.
But don't smack the parents. The parents have failed. Failing is not like a bad thing. You tried and failed. It's beyond your
So,
capacity.
are you okay with somebody smacking other people's kids?
Not at all. Or other people's dogs, anything like
Did
that.
you
I mean,
just
how
say
dare
that?
you? No, I was just being facetious.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, come on, no slapping. I'm against slapping or hitting and all that. It's all rubbish. I'm not good with that. There are
Cyrus,
of course
Mike.
very extreme cases where kids are horrible and difficult to control, and everybody looks at everybody in the what's wrong with that kid. But at the end of the day, I mean, you've got to find a way, whatever, to negotiate. But
Yep.
if you don't have kids, here's an ad for you: don't have kids. Get a plant. Much more easier to train. Yeah, and
All
yeah,
right.
honestly, it's just my
Cool.
thought.
Let's see. What's the next question? We have Namrata Patro.
You took it
Uh,
away. How
no, because
many?
that's a question we've addressed a couple of times. You believe in whether or not crows shitting on you have good luck.
Good
This
luck.
is
Yeah,
we've had
it
this
is
conversation
plastic.
more than once.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why I thought let's go somewhere else. Namrata Patro asked the question, and how people immediately made the judgment that Shami should be sent to Pakistan and he ate their money. Question: if he ate their money, why no other bowler could take even one wicket? That's an interesting
Perfect.
question.
Absolutely spot on. She's
Yeah.
answered it herself. But Namrata, what's the point of even discussing
Yep.
this? Because my biggest worry is that the people who are sending, some people say they're professional trollers or whatever, but some of them write in perfectly good English and almost with turn of phrase and all that. And that scares the hell out of me because I'm really wondering if this is somebody I grew up with. And I'm like, really? Because that's unbelievable. You always think that we are special and we are different. And our tribe, which is a class tribe more than a religious tribe, is not going to behave like this. But
Yep.
our tribe is being
But
exposed.
it is. It's not a good one. I mean, like, there are a lot of problematic things that come up all the time in conversations you have. By the way, I'd just like to say Namrata Patro is also a extraordinarily intelligent woman.
How do you
I'm
know?
sure she's extremely kind, but she's super smart because the easiest way to know South Bombay boys is from their glistening, flawless skin.
Well played, Amit. You caught me on the front foot with that. Yeah, and hands that are never don't seem to be labor class. So that's true. South Bombay is where it all started. I think it's there in Delhi as well, where the watchman has to pick up the smallest briefcase for the Saab,
Yeah.
and walk him to the lobby. I've never understood that. It's like a
Yeah,
really
I've seen that,
old-fashioned
man. I
briefcase. I
don't
mean,
get that
really,
either.
he's got like a file in it and a pen or something. I mean, it's a light
So,
thing and it's this square, the size of a
okay,
laptop. Come on.
explain this to me. I have seen this. Okay, I've literally seen this. Okay, guy is self-driving the car. It's not a driver or anything like that. Self-driving the car, stops at like the patio pavilion, whatever area you want to call it, calls the watchman over, says take my bag, and then goes and parks the car. How does this make sense? Is like picking up the bag gonna break your back or something like that? I saw that. I've seen this happen. I'm just like, how is this something that people do?
Psycho fancy. It has to end. It has this chelagiri. When will it end? Like, both sides of it is terrible. Pradeep Pillai again comes back. Malwa Hill is home to several business tycoons and film personalities. Notable residents include Adi Godrej. Just look at the difference in money here. Adi Godrej, 50,000 to 100,000 plus crores. Cyrus Broacha, we're talking thousands. Birla family, thousand crores. Shashi, thousand. Palanji Missy, thousand. And Jindal family. I mean, how can I be put there? Because they're drivers or the guys who wash the car, not the drivers much more. The wash the car guy is like, Brocha, I'll help you. You want a loan? It's like that. So that's very insulting. I won't sleep tonight. Yeah. I saw Shoaib Akhtar resigning on live TV, by the way, folks. Sylvia Shadab, is it? Shadab AMA from Shadab. I don't know if you guys saw it. It's a very
I
obnoxious anchor. They were having a few words. Lots of people, Viv Richards and Umar Gul, and they were having a panel discussion, Pakistan TV. And this guy, he's just being a little obnoxious or whatever, and had a few words, and Shoaib threatened to go. The guy didn't stop him. And then he carries
okay.
on like nothing happened. I didn't see the beginning part of the show, so I don't know what the context was, that where the fight really
No,
started.
but
But
sometimes you just want to call the bluff, right? Of somebody. I don't know what the context of this or anything, but I had a non-related but related issue where basically there was some shit going on in the new office while we were making it, right? And there was somebody like pushing for, "Arey, sir, you have to pay us for this, or we'll stop the work," etc., 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 right? And so basically, I paid him once, paid him a little bit again, and then finally I was just like, no, fuck it, I'm not paying you anything, right? And then he got pissed off and he was leaving, and then as he's leaving, somebody else is like stopping him, and I'm like, no, let him fucking leave. Yeah, why are we even bothering with this nonsense, right? If this guy is going to be a dick and he wants to leave, let him leave.
do you have a cement mixer truck?
I do not.
Because back in the old country, we'll just put him inside the truck. You never see him again.
That's a
Like,
great idea.
oh,
Believe me, I
sometimes.
wanted to do that to this guy.
So coming back to kids, there are moments when you really want to hit them, whatever, but you've got to sort of restrain yourself, and you definitely can't hit other people's kids. And they are more irritating because you give your own kids a
Yeah.
longer rope just by the way of ego extension. But other kids, I think everybody hates the obnoxious loud kid. There's just no one who likes that kid. A kid who's fragile or whatever, no one's ever going to get upset with that kid. But the loud obnoxious, "Mommy, wo kaun hai?" And especially on planes or buses, or that kid is a strangleable kid, but never hurt a child. Never hurt a child.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't hit a kid.
But also he may be able to beat you up as we age. So you gotta, if you're gonna do it at the right age, bro. You'll be 61 and they come here, you little bastard, and pok, 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 shut up, uncle. Next thing you know, on the floor. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but some people are just better with kids. Have you noticed that? Some people are just better with kids. The
Yeah,
kids respond to them, and they just, and I don't think it's like a trained thing. They're just better. Maybe they just enjoy
I,
them more, and that comes across.
I think it's an age
Like
thing in
Michael
some ways, right?
Jackson. Yeah.
No, but I think well, okay, that's a whole different
Sorry,
thing,
I'm sorry.
right?
I missed.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I was about to say that certain kids like me at a certain age, and now I'm all of a sudden you just threw
Yeah.
Michael Jackson in there, and I'm
Watch
like, I
what
don't know, I
and
want to, yeah,
watch
exactly.
the
I don't
phrasing.
want
Watch
to
the
enter this
phrasing.
conversation anymore. But no, no, no. So I mean, like, I've always, so kids always like me mostly between the ages of 2 and 5, right? Once
Oh,
they
then
get
you're a kid
past,
person, because that's the
yeah,
kind of age where they like you or don't like you. It's not much more
oh,
than that. They
yeah,
look at that. Kunal had this really ugly maid, God bless her soul, called Indu, who used to bathe him till he was
mm,
26 years old. And she, just before she died, Mikhail was born, and she was one of the first people to hold. And she was so
mm.
happy, very maternal. She came and said, Maladon or whatever, and grabbed the baby. And then Mikhail cried for the first time, actually, looked into her face and just, and Kunal said, "Come on, she's so ugly, you can't blame him." And Aisha got angry. But so I'm just saying that was just, it's like fight or flight. The kid sees you and they're like, "I like you, I don't like you." That's it. Boom.
Yeah.
With 2 and 5. After five,
No,
it's a
I can see.
personality.
Yeah, no. So I mean, like, it's yeah, it's so it's like I enjoy playing with kids, and I feel like when I am playing with them, I pay
You're
attention
using
to
all the
them.
wrong phrases.
Am I really? I mean, like, not
It's
really.
okay.
I don't
Just go
think
on, go
so.
on, go on.
Yeah.
It's my
No, but
stupid.
basically, I feel like I give them attention, right? Basically, and I think that's what they're looking for at that age, right? And I'm not distracted when I'm like tickling them or like picking them up and like going like woo 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 all that kind of
So
jazz.
I'll take the next batch. I'm okay with the 5 to 10. I think that's more like my
Okay.
age group. I'm happy with them because they like being infantile, and we have a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
I don't like
Yeah,
5 to 10. I like them then after they like they develop personality.
yeah.
So I like them 2 to 5, and then after that, like like
Then I'm like straight 47. I'm like, let's just keep going. 47 will
uh,
meet.
I like it when kids start to read, and I can kind of influence them in the kinds of things that they're
But this,
reading.
so
Sometimes
now
at their
you'll have no
parents'
friends because no
displeasure.
kids, but no kids read. I mean, you can try your
No, the
best.
kids
No
still
kids
read.
read. There's
Kids
like
still
two
read.
kids in
Kids
my
still read.
daughter's class who read. Two kids. Yeah, and
So
it's just getting to read
so I think
*Sapiens*. She's just reading
yeah.
*Sapiens* now, finally.
Oh wow, that's impressive. That's a big
But
project to
she's
take on
interested. I
for
have to
a
find the
14.
subject that she's interested in because it looks like a dry book, but she's interested in evolution, in
Okay.
society, in sociology, in all this, in cognitive functioning, and
Uh.
how man went from here to here, and race, religion, all that. So let's go there. Sometimes it's also
Yeah.
the fact is you're forcing books and there's no correlation in their mind with that topic. So you can't just give Dickens and say great expectations. It's just not the right book
Yeah.
sometimes. You'll be surprised how
The,
many people would have read the right subject.
I agree with you 100%, right? I mean, like the idea that like there was a really really funny tweet I read the other day, or maybe it was a quote tweet or something like that. But it was just like, I hate literature. I like to curl up with a good book, right? And
Fair enough.
I believe that. I really do. I feel like literary fiction is the worst fiction.
No,
Things
no,
which
you should
are
have a. That's very complex. It's not like that. It's not. It's all over the place, man. There's good in everything. There's bad in everything. I think what turns you on is good fiction or good literature. What
yeah,
turned you on is good. It may not turn me on, and I
yeah,
can cast aspersions, but I think what turns you on is that's it. Because why are we lying to ourselves? That made you come alive. You're passionate about that. Your thoughts are flying. You're interested. You
right.
want to get back to it. So that's something. That connection has been made. That's all that is
So
important. By the way, it's
I
7:04.
I mean specifically literary fiction. I mean, I know it's time for your dinner, but I'm specifically discussing literary fiction here, right? I'm not saying well-written books suck. I'm saying this genre of literary fiction, right? Which
Hmm.
is this navel gazing, full of ourselves. Every little thing is the most important thing in the world ever. That whole genre is a little annoying to
I'll,
me.
ad- I'll admit there was a period, and I think I'm straight as an arrow. Not that being gay is a bad thing, but I like the Bronte sisters. I
Mhm.
like that sort of stuff.
But
It's
that's
very
not
slow.
literature. It's
No, no,
not literature.
but I won't be able to read it now. But there was a time when I was 13, 14. I can explain it to you. There's all kinds of things
No,
appeal. Like you love the murder genre, but you also you like tech, for example, which is
I read all kinds of stuff.
as possible.
I was talking to somebody right now who said you're well read. I said I'm not well read. I'm widely read. I read all kinds of stuff, but I don't read good stuff or what is considered good because this literary fiction is what is considered good, right? Arundhati Roy, Vikram Seth. If you want to go internationally, you can look at Noah Baumbach. You can look at sorry, not Noah Baumbach.
It's a bit
That's
like
the
the
wrong name.
Oscars. What you're saying is that poignancy that they almost push into your face, kind of thing. But I don't know. But I'm not contemporary
Yeah.
literature. Doesn't really. It's not my thing.
Yeah,
So I'm fine.
exactly. It's the contemporary stuff that is the one that I don't enjoy, right? If you look at what is considered literature from the old age, that's the popular stuff that survived. Charles Dickens, Emily Bronte, this
Yeah.
Sense and Sensibility author, Jane Austen. This is considered literature today, but these were pop books back then. This is stuff I like read.
He's frozen now out of protest, which isn't like the kind of literature you're referring to. All the books he hated growing up. Yeah, where's the Kama Sutra? Dinner time, Kashan, you're right. Guys, it's been a wonderful show. Fabulous. But now I have to bathe because I'm sweating. Oh, with the new AC, I'm still sweating. She won't let me put it. She wants it on 22. It goes down to
20 is
16.
not so bad.
It's not
What
good
do I
enough
have
for
it? I
me,
have it at
brother.
20. I have it at 20.
I don't want. You have it at 20. It's just 1 or 2 degrees make it. I'll be okay. I'll settle with 20. But I do it late in the
Yeah.
night. Don't worry once she's asleep. And then I have to again put it on 22 before she wakes up. Man, marriage is tough. You can't just get up and go. Lots of planning.
Yes, it is.
Lots of planning. Okay, boys. See you tomorrow or
All
see
right. See you
Silvani
all.
tomorrow. And happy Diwali to all of you. Although we are there for a few more days, right?
We're here till Wednesday, right? I think we're taking Thursday and Friday off. Did I get that
Yep.
right?
Yeah. Government has
Yeah.
said
So,
everything on Thursday, Friday.
yeah. So Thursday and Friday we're taking off,
Yep.
and we're here till
Thursday,
Wednesday.
Friday
So
off.
we got
Correct.
3 more
Yeah.
days. Yep.
All right.
All right.
Long
See you,
drive
everybody.
back home for Amit Doshi. Silvery and me just have to walk to the toilet and urinate. Bye bye.